We'll move on to item number 3, citizen comments. This item on the agenda is for any public comments on anything not on the agenda. Is there any public comments or citizen comments? Welcome, Bill. Your name and address for the record.
Yes, I'm Bill Lincoln at 606 Maple Street. I live in Plymouth, Michigan. I was hoping to get some help from you guys. You know, I've been here at that same home, 606, actually right next to the Saxton property. We call it the Saxton property, right? For 15 or 16 years, maybe, and then I was in another house off of Rose Street for a few years as well. So I'm a longtime resident. I love Plymouth, but I've got a little issue with the owners of the Saxton property, which is, I guess, you guys. So, I collected my thoughts, so maybe you can help. So I was hoping one of you commissioners are willing to help me resolve a problem I have with the city. My lot line seems to overlap with the city's lot line at the Saxton property, and it's just a little tiny wedge. And I want to meet maybe some of those people at the city that have the ability and authority to help me prevent future disputes with a future owner. And I know that the goal is for you guys to sell that property to the, I guess it's the Harmony Group? Yeah. So I want to discuss different options available, including a possible easement or a purchase or some other option. I don't know what to do, and I've been working on trying to get this thing resolved for a couple of years now. But I don't want to wait any longer. I've been kind of hearing a lot of different ways, but I have never heard a good solution from the city, and I've been working on it for a couple of years now. I don't want any future owner, I don't want the future owner to cause me any trouble once they do finally own it. So now's really the time to do it, now that especially things are moving along, supposedly, with the property. So that's my first goal, is to really get that so I don't have a future dispute. I mean, if a couple of years ago I had sent this to Dan and Oliver and Paul, and it's been a couple of years of several different emails, so I'm hoping one of you guys can help me, even give me a suggestion. I mean, ultimately my single driveway is a very short, very narrow strip, and it appears, and I don't know that there may be a little wedge of it because it's probably a 150-year-old lot line, that it's diagonal and it could go in there. And probably 3 years ago when you guys first purchased it, I think I talked to Paul, and he said, well, nobody's really going to worry about that. And I said, well, that's fine as long as the city owns it. But now that somebody else is going to own it, I suspect I could be in real trouble. So I'm really appealing to the people that represent me to help me come up with ideas. My goal is to sit down and say, okay, and part of that, there's other stuff going on in that lot line that I got to kind of resolve. There's a tree that's got 50% of the limbs hanging, and it's several hundred pounds of wood just waiting to drop on my kids because it's hanging over. But that's kind of maybe a separate issue. But the point is that whole thing is kind of up in the air for me, and I don't know how to resolve it. Any suggestions?
Bill, I know we've chatted a few times about this over the last 18 months or so. I'm happy to chat with you offline again. I know my suggestion has been, obviously, with the developer that is involved, we're in negotiations with them. We still don't have an agreement with them, and until we do, I mean, unfortunately, our answer has been we have to wait until that happens. We're getting close, but at this time, until we have that agreement, that could jeopardize the potential sale of the property. So again, I'm more than happy. I know we've chatted a number of times about this. If there are any potential avenues or ideas that I don't know of and I'm not aware of, I'm happy to ask my compadres to the left and right of me. But at this time, I mean, at least for this moment in time, that is our answer. So.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't seem a little bit unreasonable for me to have to wait till an agreement's made with the future owner before I resolve a lot line issue now. I mean, doesn't it seem logical to deal with it now?
I'm happy, and I can kick this over to Bob, our city attorney here. But I know that I think the window is open to chat with the developer as well on your lonesome.
But the developer has no ownership of the property. So what could he give? What can he do with a lot line with the current owners?
I'm aware of that, but I'll defer to my original answer and to Bob. And again, I'm happy to take this off the dais here. I mean, our answer has been no to this point because we're in the middle of negotiations with them, and we've been advised that that could mess up a potential deal, albeit as small a property as it might be.
Yeah.
So I know it's not the answer you want right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to do the friendly thing. I mean, ultimately, it just seems logical. I would think all you guys are owners inside Plymouth. If you had something, you'd want to deal with it before a future non-city entity owns the property. And I've been doing that kind of nice, so maybe we'll talk about it for 2 years now. Now I'm just saying, okay, what the heck? I just need somebody that can really move it off the dime.
So, yeah, I mean, Bill, our answer is no at this point. Again, I'm more than happy to chat with you if there are any ideas that maybe I'm not aware of, but that's been what we're advised to do because we're in negotiations with the developer on the property. So.
Okay. No. All right.